Hello, people. Okay, I'm going to do a little show for you. Probably not going to be that long, but I want to talk about a couple things. First of all, Tony Pizza looks like he's really going too far this time. So, from what I understand, he's been suspended. But remember, nothing's ever 100%, especially when it comes to him. Uh, and they're looking at his channel now, and it's still a good chance that channel, that trashy channel by that trashy man, will be taken down. And let's all hope that we've heard the last from Tony Pizza. And if he shows up, I'm not sure whether YouTube would let him stay on because of the fact that he was using all the racism stuff. But I like to know what the hell was YouTube waiting for not to take this guy out a long time ago? He's just a bad human being. There's nothing good about him whatsoever. So now we can all put that to the rest, get our shows going. So I'm going to talk about checkers and chess. Sammy Gravano, whether you like him or not, and let me explain something to you. I'm not a fan of the Gaudis. I'm not a fan of Gravano. What I'm doing is I decided to go in a different direction with my channel, and I'm going to report news and stuff, especially mafia news, true crime type of news. And that's what I choose to do. And I'm going to present the stuff the way I want to present them. And unfortunately, in the mafia genre, you have people running around challenging things. Every time you say something, you get challenged, especially when you attack that family. But you know what? It doesn't matter. This is the way I'm going to be doing my show. I don't really care who likes it, who doesn't. The only people I have to make happy are the people that watch the show and picking up more subs that sub to me because they want to see my channel. And with that, yes, Sammy's still playing chess and everybody else is still playing checkers. And that was blatantly clear on the show the other day, The Last Gangster. On that show, we seen that one man became the star of the show, and the man that he was knocking, son, was barely on the show and couldn't even defend his father. And it's obvious ABC cut a lot of stuff up and put it on the floor, and they weren't happy with it. They couldn't have been happy that happened. But when you go before these channels and do these type of shows, I've worked with shows like this before. And when you do shows like this, you have to have some type of agreements up front. Either that was the worst move in the history of that whole scenario, or they just didn't realize what the show was going to be about. There was no reason at all to be on that show if you knew that he was going to be there insulting the hell out of your father and saying what he was saying. So yes, Sammy's still playing chess, and I'm going to give you some more details on why he's still playing chess. Interesting stuff. Okay. Euphoria broke HBO's rating record with a whopping 1.24 million viewers. You might be asking why I'm putting this up there. Here's why I'm putting this up here. Now, they're all praising the 2.4 million views. It sets an all-time HBO record. It broke Chernobyl's record. So on here, 3.28 million watched Sammy Gravano that night. And I'm going to say Sammy Gravano because that was the Sammy Gravano show with some guests. And it was number 2 for the night. Of everything that was on that night, it was number 2 amongst the 18 and 49-year-old demographic. And let me tell you why that's important. If you were 35 years old back when this whole thing happened and Sammy was a rat, he was on the front cover of the Daily News and the New York Post. His head was on top of a rat. I was in New York at that time. I lived in New York at that time. And I remember this whole thing. It was incredible if you think that this man was going to repair his image the way he has. But see, that demographic, 35-year-old people, they don't know 2 hoots about back then in the ratting. All they know is Sammy Gravano. Now, And the older people that remember the ratting, they're dying off. All the old guys from the streets in Brooklyn, all the old guys that are for John Gotti and they know what Sammy did to him. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Okay. And here's another reason it doesn't matter. Okay, so that show's on ABC. Does great ratings that night. Really, especially with the 18 to 49-year-old demographic. And then the show the following day goes on to Hulu. And it's one of the most watched shows over the weekend on Hulu. Top show. Okay, so it's on Hulu now. So that show is going to stay there forever. Hulu's average viewer is 18 to 49. So once again, you got a demographic that is watching Sammy that doesn't remember any of this ratting stuff. So the ratting stuff is meaningless. It means nothing. Sammy has corrected his image, and when he dies in 20 years from now, most people that remember him, well, he'll be gone, and most people that remember him snitching, a majority of them will be gone. And you're going to have a whole new group of people coming in and watching his stuff. It's like a library. It's going to be there from a long time to come. His family will keep it alive. It'll become digital. And as times change, that library will become more modernized and be there forever. So yes, Sammy is still playing chess. And whoever is around him and taking care of him and creating a new image for him is doing a fantastic job, whether it's his son, his daughter, or whether he has a team doing it. But they are doing a great job. And I'm not saying this because I'm happy for Sammy. I'm saying it because it's true. Okay. Basically, I was going to say, has Gravano and his public relation team killed his 1980 through 90s rat image? Yes, they have. If you're 60 like me, and everybody remembers what Sammy did, we're 60. We're not the majority of the people. You know, how many Italians that were angry have died off? How many people my age are dying off? Are going to die off over a period of time. And Sammy will be far gone too. But his image has been changed amongst the majority of people. Now, the majority now that still knows what he did is a small majority because they believe what he has to say about why he ratted. I'm not saying it's true, but they believe it. It's a different generation. Okay. And I'm going to talk about another thing. This is brought up on another show. Who decides? It was about a mob novices. The quote was, mob novices are the ones that are watching this whole thing. What is a mob novice? I think that anybody that wasn't in the mob, 99% of them mob novices. There's very few Jerry Capiscis out there. Most people don't know nearly as much as they think they know. If you haven't been in the street, and if you don't understand what it means to know that your friend's coming to kill you possibly, or every day you got to look over your shoulder, or you understand that life, you're a mob novice at best. Usually you're not. I'm not a mob novice because I know very little about the mob, except the advantage I have is I'm learning. I take everything and I learn now, and I enjoy doing it. And I'm doing these blogs on my website where I read every one of these blogs every day and learn something about a new person. And by the way, here comes the plug, mobtuber.com. You can go there and check out the blogs. We replace the blogs every day or the second day. And today we got the Gravano faction, not the Gravano, Castellano faction on there. It's about Paul Castellano and the people around him before he got killed. Okay. So I'm going to also play a video, but this is what I want to ask. Did John Gotti tell Sammy to take the fall? I'm going to play this video and then give you my opinion. And then you guys could take it any way you want and give me your opinion underneath this video and tell me what you think. But let me start this up.
Point was John says, I got a way where I could beat this case. He tells me and Frankie, my guys are going to go over all the documents and tapes. We'll take care of that. You guys are not allowed to listen or read them. That's one of the conversations. And I said, John, I'm indicted on 2-3 murders, a couple of conspiracies to murder. I'm facing life without parole. I can't listen to a tape or read a transcript. I can't fight for my freedom. That's the way it's going to be. The boss is the boss. The boss must go free. The thing I wouldn't think of was ratting. That was like the unthinkable, the untouchable. And I'm thinking now, that's exactly what he's doing. He's giving me up to the government. Now, what the fuck is the difference? Whether he's taking the stand, he's backing the tape up. What's the difference? What position he's taking? He is now arranging for me to be convicted and do life without parole while he hits the streets. It's a rat move. If you don't want to call him a rat, don't call him a rat. It's a rat move. And I said, think about this, John. Think about it carefully. Is that exactly what you want to happen? It's got to be that way, Sammy. That's just the way it is. You got to go down for me to go out. I said, all right, then let's do it. If this is what this whole thing boiled down to, killing each other, not only killing each other, but we're putting each other away and we're doing fucking unheard of things. If this is Cosa Nostra, the Cosa Nostra I lived and killed and did everything under the sun for, without question, without hesitation, I quit. I quit Cosa Nostra, I quit him, and I got in touch with the FBI. That was probably one of the worst moments of my life. I've been through everything. You've heard some of my stories. People read books about me. Has to be the worst moment of my life. I had people die, all different kinds of things throughout my life. That was the worst moment of my life. But I felt I couldn't do what he wanted me to do. And how I was going to go down, whether I got killed or I didn't get killed, it was going to be my fucking way, not his. Not him coaching lawyers while I sat there like a fucking potted plant and people made accusations that weren't even true. My family would have to look at me and say, why the fuck didn't he say something? Why didn't his lawyer say anything?
Now, that is pretty powerful stuff. And see, this is why Sammy has been able to repair his image. One thing that I never realized is how smart of a guy Sammy was. Because when you think of gangsters, usually you think of street guys, uneducated and not very smart. But then there are uneducated guys that are very smart. And Sammy is one of those guys. And the way that they have corrected his image and everything. And yes, people don't want to hear it. His image is corrected. It's done. There's nothing anybody could do about it. If this was a chessboard, he's won. And, you know, people can get mad and angry that I said that, but he's the one alive. He's the one that's doing these shows now. He just had a battle with COVID, got through it, and he's moving on for the next phase of his life. He's an old man. He's 76 years old. He's going to be 77. I'm an old man. I'm not that old, but I'm old. And he's going to be moving on, and he's going to stay on here. He's going to build up his legacy, and he is going to leave a legacy for his children. And there's not a damn thing anybody can do about it. You know, you have people running around all concerned and saying this and saying that. But the fact of the matter is you're wasting your breath. You might not want to hear me say that, but it's the truth. And not only has he fixed his image, his son went to jail or prison on a drug charge that they were involved with. His son, it looks like he's repaired his self coming out of, he did several years in prison. That is no easy thing. It's obvious that Karen Gravano has repaired her image. Matter of fact, she's doing real well. So, people don't want to hear that. And there's a certain group of people that don't want to hear it. But it doesn't matter if you do which sect, mafia, whatever. It doesn't matter anymore. You're not going to hurt Sammy. Sammy Gravano is not going to be hurt. The only thing that can hurt Sammy Gravano at this point in his life is the Grim Reaper. When you get to a certain point in your life, that's who we wait for the Grim Reaper to show up. And, I wasn't at that point until I seen the show the other night. I've heard people say, oh, the show was the same old thing. No, it wasn't the same old thing. Absolutely. That show was, from what I understand, his insiders around him are happy as heck with the show. They're happy with the ratings. They're happy with the new genre that they're creating. And they're taking it as a massive victory. So people can put a spin on it and say, oh, it's not a victory. It's not a victory. He spoke about the same old thing. But here's what happened. He spoke about the same stuff that mob people have heard. Yes, without a doubt. But still, a lot of new people came to that channel and didn't hear none of this stuff. It was all new to them. They just clicked it on, and now it's on Hulu. So right away, when they hear what he says about John Gotti, telling him to take the rap in prison, whether it's true or not, a good majority of people that hear it are going to believe it. And you got to remember that not only are you in America doing this is a huge market. This market goes overseas. A matter of fact, some of Sammy's shows are done in Russian. I mean, he has a Russian channel. So that tells you right there that this is a huge thing. And, Sammy's probably like, shit, why do I got to be 76, 77 years old and this happening to me now? When you get older, that's how you think. That's how I think. I got my channel. I'm an older guy. I wish I was 20 years younger and was doing this. So now you got Sammy thinking to himself, okay, I'm an older guy, but you know what? It doesn't matter though, because he's leaving a legacy for his children. And you're going to have people come on and say, oh, Lee was spewing shit the other day, favoring Sammy. No, I'm telling the truth. This ain't favoring Sammy. This is telling the truth. It's just that sometimes people don't want to hear the truth. The truth hurts. And truth sometimes could be a horrible, horrible thing. So, I believe that when John Jr. showed up on that show, it did a lot of damage. And not to Sammy Gravano. Sammy's got to be ecstatic about it. His best thing was not to even go on the show. Just let everybody else be on the show. Don't go on the show. If you don't know what they're doing, this is the media you're talking about. You know, you don't know what kind of product they're going to put out. And it's obvious the product they put out definitely did not favor John Jr. And, as I go toward more of a news cycle with the mafia and stuff and reporting stuff to you that you don't hear and you may want to hear, I might hurt some feelings, but it's not I'm doing it on purpose. There's no doubt who John Gotti was as a man. John Gotti was a man beyond men when it came to going to prison and being an old gangster. But as we know, that's all gone now because of the sentences they give out to these gang members. The mafia is in existence barely because you're never going to have street mafia again. All crimes are going to be done on the internet, and very few crimes are going to be done in the street anymore. Just thugs will do crimes in streets, especially with cameras and everything out there. But you know what, people? I want you to tell me what you think. And my channel is really doing well now. I like to thank everybody for that. Because if it hasn't been for you, my channel wouldn't be doing well like this. And on Tuesday, I have an interview. And I'll announce the interview on Monday. I don't like to announce interviews because you got trolls that like to start trouble. And then you just got some bad people that like to start trouble. So I'm going to keep this to myself. But on Tuesday, I'm going to have a very good interview with a former made man and a man of rank. And he's legitimate. And I'm going to have him on the show. And we're going to have a good interview. And once again, I'm going to interview who I want to interview. I'm going to say what I want on here. If I feel like I need to correct it, I'll correct it. But the main reason I do videos is so if I do make a mistake, sometimes I'll do 3 shows and then only release one of them. I mean, that's what I do now. The live stuff is not going live is not a really good thing if you want to do what I'm doing. If someone wants to go out there, make money, get money and super chats and stuff, it's great. That's their thing. But I like putting together quality shows and releasing them. And this is giving me the opportunity by dropping this and putting it out and watching how many people watch it. It tells me a lot about the product once people start watching it. So with that, I'd like to say I'll see you Tuesday. I'll be releasing, I'll have that interview released on Tuesday because I'm interviewing the person earlier Tuesday. And I'd like to thank you. And I got a lot of really good stuff coming up. And I'm going to be working with a much bigger format very soon. And on February 25th, I have a major interview, but that's my secret. And that's something I'm really looking forward to because of who it is. And it's just going to be a blast. Okay, people, thank you so much for being there for me. I really appreciate it. Everybody take care. God bless you.